All right, I'm gonna get the cracking real quick. I got a lot of things to do. I gotta catch up on my own health. But you already know, love your soul, not your role. Omni Cosmic in the house. Wake up, wake up. Today's Majestic Monday. Be majestic to yourself and to others in this planet, on this world, on this theme, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Be kind to one another. Let me get on. Let me go on. Do not disturb. Buenos dias, buenos dias. Wake up, wake up. Yeah, back in the house. You already know I'm the Cosmic. So I'm gonna take the opportunity to do our Monday, Majestic Monday morning prayer. Getting back into it like we were prior to these last couple days. But here we go, Majestic Monday. Early morning prayer. You already know, love your soul, not your role. Wake up, wake up. Heavenly Father, as the sun rises on this new week, I surrender this Monday into your hands. I lay down my plans, my worries, and my will. Fill me with your spirit. Guide my thoughts, words, and actions. Let your peace rule my heart and your purpose shape my steps. I trust you with the unknown, and I thank you for the grace that covers me. May this day reflect your glory. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. I think this is a poem. Is it? Let me see. The sun, a sovereign, robed in light, ascends its crimson eastern throne. It banishes the weary night on sleeping street and silent stone. The weak, a kingdom yet unknown, awaits with still and potent grace, a golden banner newly flown on Monday's grand and noble face. Grand Rising, you already know, love your soul, not your role. We're keeping this going. So there it is. I hope you had a great week. I hope you have a good week, and I hope that today's majestic for you and majestic for everybody around you. So we're going to do Exodus 22. This is called protection of property. So I believe that this has to do with all of their rules, commandments or whatever. But check it out. There we go. Let me see if I can find the app. Here it is. So I just need to type in Exodus. '22. And that's protection of property. So check it out. Here we go.
Exodus chapter 22. Whoever steals an ox or a sheep and slaughters it, or sells
They're
it,
trying to live, man.
must pay back 5 head of cattle
Trying to
for
stay
the
alive.
ox and 4 sheep for the sheep. If a thief is caught breaking in at night and is struck a fatal blow, the defender is not guilty of bloodshed. But if it happens after sunrise, the defender is guilty of bloodshed. Anyone who steals must certainly make restitution. But if they have nothing, they must be sold to pay for their theft. If the stolen animal is found alive in their possession, whether ox or donkey or sheep, they must pay back double. If anyone grazes their livestock in a field or vineyard and lets them stray and they graze in someone else's field, the offender must make restitution from the best of their own field or vineyard. If a fire breaks out and spreads into thorn bushes, so that it burns sheaves of corn or standing corn or the whole field, the one who started the fire must make restitution. If anyone gives a neighbor silver or goods for safekeeping and they are stolen from the neighbor's house, the thief, if caught, must pay back double. Most of this information on here about how to treat others and how to do things with your property and other folks, I mean, that's universal law, right? If you understand universal law, then that Bible telling you how to treat people and how to do things, how to pay back, how to barter, what kind of things you need, that's universal law. And what this is trying to do is trying to put it in a constricted form of how you should do it, right? When you should do it, what type of material you should use to pay back to. So, but this is basically universal. Everybody knows this. Any tribe that was outside of Israel, that was outside of Jerusalem, that was outside of any tribe, outside of there, like
basically tribes on the New World, the supposedly that was already there, had these rules already, right? Because you can't have a family unit, a tribe, if you don't have any rules. You got to follow the rules. There's things that our older folks put together just to keep you safe, just to keep you in line with with the universe, with prosperity. These rules, they're universal. They're just putting them in here because they gathered them from other places and put them together and say, here, these are the rules that you need to follow because he says so. These are universal rules. Everybody knows this. You just been, me, like my people, my indigenous folks, Puerto Ricanos, Dominicans, Arawaks, you just been indoctrinated to believe that you never had these rules. So now, because you don't know that, because they took everything away and they destroyed all of your people, all of your masters, all of your gods, then you have to follow something that you don't even understand. And so you're confused all the time. When you read the Bible, you're confused. You don't want to read it. You want to read it. You want to be part of it. You don't want to be part of it. That's what they want. They want you to be confused. But understand that your people come first. Just like in the Bible, God's people come first. Your people come first. How do you fortify your people? How do you be majestic to your people? You teach them. You show them. Read the whole thing. Just read the whole thing. You're not gonna understand none of it. That's what it's made for. Then you have to read other things, but read the whole thing. Follow Proverbs, follow Psalm, because there's good things in there that let you be good to other folks. That was taken away from you. Remember, these are universal laws that we all know, right? Because our parents teach us this stuff, because they learned it from their parents, and they learned it from their parents, and they learned it from their parents. They didn't need a book to teach them how to do that. They already had God in their life. Some of us had many gods. So this stuff is indoctrinating you to follow one monotheistic God, to rule over you, to make it seem like you're a savage. You don't have civilization. You don't have, science. That's not true. It's not true. So read other books. I still love Father God, right? There is questions about who Jesus Christ is, because the stuff that I've been reading, and it's been like that. It's always been like that for me, right? But we'll find out. If he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We're all gonna find out, right? But what's the wrong in doing right? So let's finish and at least read the history, because the history will let you know his story, right? And then you start going into your history. You start reading history about when they came over, and it's all gonna be his story. You're not gonna have anything that's gonna reflect you, because we didn't write books. We just taught each other verbally. I was talking to my moms yesterday, right? I love my mom. She's awesome. God bless her, man. If you don't have your moms in your life, rest her soul if she's not around. But if your mom's is here, love her, cherish her. Something that I didn't do when I was young, but my mom's she's smart. My mom's. So she goes, we were talking about how we learn. Because I was showing yesterday the clouds. Remember that? I don't know if you were on here, but I was showing the clouds, the movements, the wind, and how the sun's being covered. So she said, yeah, remember I used to tell you guys, because my mom used to get, mad and pissed, right? Because she'll say this, pero yo te enseñé ayer. I showed you yesterday, but I showed you, because our people don't read. This is not something we don't have literature. That stuff was brought from somewhere else. That stuff was brought from Iraq, from those folks. That's how they learn. We don't learn like that. That's why we're always in rebellion, because we have to come back to the way that we learn, which is symbology, which is symbolism, right? Drawing, saying, showing. We the show me people. Now in America, they got this place called the Show Me State. I forgot, it's Michigan, I don't know. So my mom would say, remember I used to show you? So my mom, she would say, Junior, that's what my mom called me. She would follow, she said, come with me, we're gonna cook. So I go to the kitchen, she'll show me. She'll get all the ingredients. She'll say, mira, you need this, you need this, you need this, you need this. Then you take this, and then she'll do it the next day. And then she'll do it with one of my other siblings. We all know how to cook. My sister, my brother, all of us know how to cook. That's one of the main things that my mom showed us, how to cook and clean. Keep yourself clean. You heard? So, I told her, what was a conflict? So she asked, so why didn't you guys listen? I said, I know now, because we would go to school, and school was showing us how to read. And reading wasn't necessarily intuitive for me. So there was a conflict of learning between my parent, my mom, and school. So she said, yeah, but I'm your parent. I said, yeah, but we were in school more than we were around you. So we couldn't understand you because it wasn't written in instructions. But we still learn anyway. We learn a puño y pata. That's how I say, right? She smack you across the head. You're not listening to me. So I learned how to cook by her showing me. I learned how to do things by watching folks and following and mimicking. But this reading stuff is confusing to all indigenous people. I mean, we can catch it because we got incredible people who know how to manipulate this system, right? Who know how to use what's being taught, and they know this. So what they do is they make it more difficult, make it more complicated, supposedly. But everything about us is complicated. There's nothing that we don't know. So this information about these people, Exodus, and you know, all this stuff has nothing to do with us, right? It has nothing to do. And when I'm saying us, I'm saying indigenous folks de Puerto Rico, Santo Domingo, Colombia. There's nothing. And when you come to try and read the data and the history from that region, from us, from the Caribbeans, you know, all on down to the Galapagos, whatever, right? There's no information, and the information that you find was edited by those who were in power. So what you're reading is not, and everything that you had, everything that belonged to you is in the Vatican, in the basement. They took it, they kept it. And then they said, here, this is your God. That's what happened. Everybody who's Latino, not even Latino, everybody who's indigenous on this planet knows that that's what happened. Now, they use this in evil. Yeah, it was evil what they did. But there's nothing good that they do. They don't do anything good. Everything that they do is evil. Why is that? Because they don't follow what they want you to follow. They don't follow this. They follow other gods. They follow gods that they separate from the God that they tell you to follow. They don't even believe in Jesus Christ. And those people they want to indoctrinate you just like they did in education. And they tell you here all these horrible things if you don't do this and you don't do that. But they do these things all day, every day, in mass. So think about that. Just think about that. Like, you know, the character of Jesus Christ, the way he is, the way he does, I love, right? But this history is making me crazy because it has nothing to do with us. This Exodus has nothing, but understand it has nothing to do with us. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now they say you're Israelite. We are. So that we can follow. That is known. Right? The Puerto Ricanos, Dominicans, we're all of us. You just got to figure it out when you're reading the Bible. They don't want you to figure it out. Who's they? Figure it out. Find out who they are. Everybody who's in power above you, above them, that's they. They're all they hide. They're puppets. They hide behind their master. They hide behind weapons, whether they be books, whether it be. But later for them, right? You got to build your own knowledge. So this way, when they come for you in any way, spiritual especially, medically, education-wise, financially, you have to be set in all those areas, which makes it a lot more difficult for you if you have to serve them. You bird, wake up. But read it. We're gonna read it. We're gonna finish the whole thing. There are things in here that have helped me. You know, like praying. You know, they say his name is Yeshua, not Jesus Christ. They say that Jesus Christ is the Antichrist, or was the Antichrist, or is, I don't know what it is. But reading this stuff, it has nothing to do with me. I'm reading this stuff. I'm like, oh, so who are these people, right? But you have to know. No, I don't. I need to know my people. That's who I need to know. I need to know my history. But you don't know. This is more important than you. Fíjate eso, brother. Pero yo no estoy en contra de yo no estoy en contra de la religión. I'm not against religion. Religion is religare. If you need to be regulated, if you need to be told what to do, then good for you. That's what you need. But a lot of people in this world follow this thing, and it only leads into destruction. Literally, you're poor. Listen, I was watching this video. I think I'm gonna see if I can find it on YouTube, on Facebook. And I know for this to be true because I see it. So there's a Puerto Rican lady. She's in Puerto Rico on the island of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is an island in the Caribbean, if you didn't know. So she's Puerto Rican. You can hear her. She's walking around, and she walks to the home of a pastor, of a female pastor, a pastora. This woman, this house is humongous. Humongous, a palace. So she's saying, look at how she's living. But everybody else is paying tithes to this woman. She's a crook. She's definitely a crook. Now, Jesus Christ didn't take any money or anything from anybody, didn't want anything from anybody. Now, the first God did. He wanted you to build this. He was killing things, because just you reading it right now. We're reading it. But Jesus Christ wasn't about that. However, you can manipulate anybody with a smile, with kindness, anybody. Now, I don't know what that was all about, but I know that his character was beautiful. I would love to be like that, but he's not the one. Now they're saying, well, don't say that. I don't care what you. I'm reading the Bible for myself. I'm getting this from. This is why I don't go to church, because church is just like school. Church will say, this is how it's gotta be. This is what they do. I'm gonna go to church this Sunday because I met somebody. I'm gonna go check it out. This is what they do. They indoctrinate you. They put fear in you. That's what they do. So you better tithe, because if you don't, God's gonna, dude. Live your life the way Jesus Christ lived his life, as an example of a person on how to treat people and how to treat communities and how to love. There ain't no way you're not going to heaven. To heaven. There ain't no way. You should already be there. With love, kindness, community. Those are the things that make heaven. I guarantee you. I'm in a place now. I was just in the hospital. I don't know what's going to happen to me. Nobody knows what's going to happen to them, but I'm sick, basically. You don't see me crying. You don't see me giving up. You don't see me destroying everybody else because I'm the one that's sick. Nah, man, I'm following, what I need to follow and being how I need to be, which is what you should do too. Be good to yourself, and then that will carry out to others. Don't have self-interest. Don't have motivation to take somebody else's gains, somebody else's, don't do that. Don't be a parasite. Because you're gonna end up. How parasites end up. Parasites end up dead. That's what because they don't have their own life. They have to suck off a source. Now this is the major goal of the entire world. They suck off of you. The moment you die, they're gonna dwindle. They're gonna die. This is why AI. This is why robots. This is why technology is coming into hand, because they're those that think that they have power, which they don't. They're not gonna be able to do anything unless they have us create these things for them. But I don't know nothing. This is purely entertainment. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a rabbi. Definitely not a Christian. I'm just a dude playing a dude, being seen by another dude. That's it. But I've been through a lot. I'm not sad about what I've been through. I'm not, I don't regret any of it or the people I met in my life. I don't know that. But what I would like to say is read, learn, don't give up on your own people. Don't give up on your own people. Because that's all you got. Don't sell your people out for money, for spirituality, for control, for power. Don't sell. The moment you do that, you destroy yourself. The moment you allow your people to be destroyed, or you sell them out, you're done. You're done. You have no loyalty. You have no right. You have nothing, because they will get rid of you. And I keep on saying that. I'm talking about governments, Medicaid, medical industries, institutions. Because what was introduced to our people? Industry. Creating things on a mass scale that belonged to us and sold it back to us with interest. You don't think that's evil? Do you think that that's evil? That somebody steals something that belongs to you, that was given to you by God, and then rents it back to you, and then when they want to take it from you and sell it to someone else, you don't think that's evil? You don't think that's worth you saying to your people, yo, hold up, man. We gotta they gotta extinguish us then, because you're not taking my land, my property, because it belongs to my children. But no, No, the the powers that be have you have a needle in your neck, with drugs, with music, with cars, and that you don't even own. You own none of it. All you used to own was your land. You gave that up because our own people betrayed us. I'm talking about people in Puerto Rico. Even people that you thought that were great, they were for the country. They were for Puerto Rico. Even those people betrayed us. Because if they didn't, where would we be today? Now, I'm not saying anything about the politics of Puerto Rico, the politics of the Caribbean. Y'all do what y'all need to do. And they're going to do it anyway. But you as an individual, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your people. Don't be in despair. You already in despair. You're here. God's giving you a way out. He's giving you a way to be in life so that you can share with everybody. Like I said, this Exodus, this Genesis, whoever wants to analyze all of that and say, hey, this is where we are, this is who we are, connected to that, fine. Go do that science. I'm not with all that science. I don't know about it. I don't want to know about it. It doesn't matter to me. It's not making me any better. It's not making my people any better. Is it? Is you going to church every Sunday, reading the Bible, being great, being good? Are you still a hypocrite? Is it making your life any better? Is it making your people's lives any better? Your political stance, are you part of the system? No, you're not, and you never will be. So we're gonna read this. I'm gonna read it, but again, it's not a bad. It's not a bad guide for spirituality. But it just seems to me after reading this Old Testament, and then they switch it up with the New Testament. I'm not saying that God doesn't exist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Jesus Christ is not his son, because I don't know. I don't know. He's saying that. That's what they're saying. But these people are not. They don't come from where we come from. Matter of fact, they came from over there with this stuff, and they destroyed us with this stuff. Read the books that they allow us to read about it. Bartolomé de las Casas. This book. Read this book. If you're Puerto Rican, or you're Latino, or you're any race of people, read this book. Read that book. And it's still going on today. So, I don't know what to say. I'm just going to say I'm going to finish reading this book because I said I was going to do it. When I set myself to finish doing something, I'm going to finish doing it. I think I'm remembering that what really enticed me into reading this book, this old book, was the book of Enoch. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that my grandmother had a copy with the book of Enoch in it. And it was another book that was in it that's not in it, that I read. Because it was like, kind of like I could understand that story. For some reason, I don't know. But after we're done with this beautiful book here, it's a great book. It's a good book. We're gonna read the book of Enoch. Might get the book of symbology. We're gonna break all that stuff down. Looking at also astrology, which is an old science created by those who had time to sit and observe, because there was nothing else for them to do. So they had these great ideas. Where did these ideas come from? They didn't create their own ideas. We didn't create ourselves. Something created us. Something greater than us. That is a fact. But because there's covenants that were created with those who were close to that, to that power, right? Or so they called it. It gave them the covenant to do whatever they needed to do, to either eradicate or control. That's what this is all. That's what I see this is all about. This Old Testament. Some of it's upsetting, extremely upsetting. The stuff that they say, killing babies, women, whole cities. They're doing that now. Do you like that? Do you like that? That's what they're doing. Of course you do. I don't think you do. I don't. So I'm gonna read it in here, and I'm gonna like it. I don't like it. I don't like that, because he's God. He can go around killing everybody. He made you. Now he wants to kill you. That doesn't make any sense. So Adam and Eve, these two people. Anyway, let's do Exodus 22, all right? Love your soul, not your will. You already know. And God loves you. You know, if you want to call him Jesus Christ, go right ahead. I don't know what to call him at this point. I know that I have a spirit, you know, that has helped me throughout my life. Whether whatever is connected to, I haven't seen it. It's not tangible to me. I don't understand it. This is making it more confusing, but I know that it's there. I pay homage to that, right? And keep it close to me. And how do I do that? How do you do that, right? You read. You don't even have to read. Just exclude all of the controlling entities outside of your life. That includes everybody, your mother, your car, your bills, you know, your wife, your children. Exclude all that. Centralize yourself in your own spirit and your, because you got one in your own soul, fortified by whatever you're reading. And know that whatever you do, however you do it, is gonna come back to you. I don't know what you want to call it. You want to call it karma? I don't care what you call it. I'm not calling it anything. I'm just calling the way you live is what you get. That's what I'm understanding. This history stuff. And it's so funny how glorious this history is, right? Even though how you know, it's just messed up the stuff that's being done. But yet again, our history is nothing but mass murder, extinguish, like, you know, being, I don't know, genocide. It's our history is scary and bleak and limited, and it's not true. We have a beautiful culture. We have beautiful people. They just destroyed it and said, now you're confused about who you need to follow. Nobody knows who need who need it. Who's this? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And nobody's smarter than the creator. He knows what you're gonna do when you're gonna do it. He knows all of that. Or she. Look, I mean, he, she, them. But I can tell you one thing. That you just read it. Just read it. Just read it. And then take what you can from it. But always be humble. Always be respectful. Always be grateful. Those things will take you a lot further. And your family. And you teach them that. Teach the kids the Bible. There are guys in here that if you had your own, you would teach them too. If you don't, but you have this. So use it to the best of your ability. Here we go.
But if the thief is not found, the owner of the house must appear before the judges, and they must determine whether the owner of the house has laid hands on the other person's property. In all cases of illegal possession of an ox, a donkey, a sheep, a garment, or any other lost property about...
We didn't have none of that stuff. We didn't have no sheep. We didn't have no ox. We didn't have no donkeys. But hey.
Which somebody says, this is mine. Both parties are to bring their cases before the judges. The one whom the judges declare guilty must pay back double to the other. If anyone gives a donkey, an ox, a sheep, or any other animal to their neighbor for safekeeping and it dies, or is injured or is taken away while no one is looking, the issue between them will be settled by the taking of an oath before the Lord that the neighbor did not lay hands on the other person's property. The owner is to accept this, and no restitution is required. But if the animal was stolen from the neighbor, restitution must be made to the owner. If it was torn to pieces by a wild animal, the neighbor shall bring in the remains as evidence, and shall not be required to pay for the torn animal. If anyone borrows an animal from their neighbor, and it is injured or dies while the owner is not present, they must make restitution. But if the owner is with the animal, the borrower will not have to pay. If the animal was hired, the money paid for the hire covers the loss.
Social responsibility.
If a man seduces a virgin who is not pledged to be married and sleeps with her, he must pay the bride price, and she shall be his wife. If her father absolutely refuses to give her to him, he must still pay the bride price for virgins. Do not allow a sorceress to live. Anyone who has sexual relations with an animal is to be put to death. Whoever sacrifices to any god other than the Lord must be destroyed. Do not ill-treat or oppress a foreigner, for you were foreigners in Egypt. Do not take advantage of the widow or the fatherless. If you do, and they cry out to me, I will certainly hear their cry. My anger will be aroused, and I will kill you with the sword. Your wives will become widows, and your children fatherless.
Which happened.
If you lend money to one of my people among you who is needy, do not treat it like a business deal. Charge no interest. If you take your neighbor's cloak as a pledge, return it by sunset, because that cloak is the only covering your neighbor has. What else can they sleep in? When they cry out to me, I will hear, for I am compassionate. Do not blaspheme God or curse the ruler of your people. Do not hold back offerings from your granaries or your vats. You must give me the first.
I like that. I'm going to read that again. That I like. It says, do not blaspheme God, which you shouldn't do, whether you're part of this, information or whatever, or curse the ruler of your people. That I believe. You shouldn't blaspheme God, because he's your superior. That's like, let me put it in layman terms, man. That's like you blaspheming your boss. That's like you talking crap about your boss to another employee. So God the superior, the greatest of the greats, the creator of all, whether they be gods, whether they be angels, whether they be demons, whether they be whatever they're going to be. This is the creator of everything. So he knows the yin and the yang. He's the glue that holds all of it together, because it's necessary for there to be some type of reality. Because you wouldn't know joy if it wasn't for pain. So do not blaspheme God or curse the ruler of your people.
Born of your sons. Do the same with your cattle and your sheep. Let them stay with their mothers for 7 days, but give them to me on the 8th day. You are to be my holy people. So do not eat the meat of an animal torn by wild beasts. Throw it to the dogs.
I wonder what wild beasts they were talking about. So anyway, love your soul, not your world. You already know. Wake up, wake up. We're reading the Bible. It's a great book. Loving it. The information in it is amazing. If you follow I'm not saying follow all of it. This is just a history of their indoctrination of what they believed in and how they practiced spirituality, right? And it's all in a book. A book is a box. A box is a restriction. That's why we didn't have, but we weren't restricted. We were free. We went on. We respected nature. We respected everything about it. We respected God, and we had love for nature, for things in nature. If we would take some meat, we would take some meat, and we would pray, to Father God. Say, Father God, thank you for this food. We're gonna split it amongst the people in your name. And that's what we did, and we still were doing it. All that information is old information. All how to be, followers of the Almighty is old information. This information is in a box, putting you in a box, restricting your natural connection to God, to the All Father, to whatever we call them, because I don't know what we call them, and I know there's a Creator. I feel it. So love your soul, not your world. You already know. Wake up, wake up. We reading the Bible. We taking good information from it to help us be good people to other people. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not from Africa. I'm not from the Middle East. That's this book. I'm from Puerto Rico. My people are from Puerto Rico. The animals in Puerto Rico aren't naturally from Puerto Rico. They were brought over. So I don't know. That history is not mine. But thank you for the information. I appreciate it. I wish I could do the same. I wish I can tell you what type of indigenous animals we had on my in my nation, in my land. I wish I could do that, but I can't. But that's good that you know that. I appreciate that. That's what I would like to know. That's the information that I would like to have. So I'm gonna do that research right after we finish reading this great book, because it's a good book. It is amazing. It got a good stuff to be good to your people, to yourself, to God, right? To follow in the way of Yeshua. I think that's the name. I don't even know. I don't know. I just know that you need to be good to yourself, to your spirit, to your soul, to your spirit. That's because that's what it's all about. Yeah, Africa, isn't Africa Africanus from Greece, or whatever that, because Africa is not the real name of Africa. That I know, but I don't know what the original name of my land was. They say it was Borinquen, but who knows? So, thank you. But God bless. Godspeed. Read the Bible tomorrow. We're going to start off with laws, justice, and mercy. Exodus 23. This is good stuff because there's an underline of rules and social behaviors that we should follow to be a good society, to be a good people, which I think we were, because like Bartolomé de las Casas said in his I think it was diary or something like that, but I gotta get that. I had it. I lent it to somebody, which I'll never do again. Is that he said that the Boricuas were the most kindest and beautifulest people that he's ever met his entire life. I'm gonna get it so I can read it to you because it's true. Now, Yehoshua, okay, thank you for that, Lisa. Thank you. So this is what he said about the Boricuas, right? They were the most kindest, givingest, and that's what we are. But yet they flipped that in this book that I'm reading, War Against All Puerto Ricans, that they were buffoons. All they did was dance and drink and all that stuff. Where did it come from? It didn't come from us. That came from Spain. All that salsa, merengue stuff, that's not our stuff. But then again, we are from the Arawaks. The Arawaks come from whatever you called Africa, Akembu, whatever, right? That's all that bloodline right there that was destroyed. We had an empire, it was destroyed, cut in half, cut more than one half. So love your soul, not your role. You already know. Love Father God. Follow the teachings of Yeshua. Because I don't think that, reading this stuff now, man, I'm not confused, right? I'm just, I'm just understanding and knowing. That's it. All right. Godspeed.